Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out the newly released Star Wars edition of Risk. This game focuses on the Battle of Endor, as seen in Return of the Jedi or Star Wars Episode 6. And I have to say, as a kid, I can't tell you how many times I watched that. It was the coolest thing ever. It still holds up today, by the way. I just watched it last week. Love the Battle of Endor. You've got troops on the ground battling it out, the Rebel Alliance trying to destroy the shield generator, and the reason they're trying to do that is because there's a Death Star in orbit, the second Death Star, and basically the Rebel Alliance is trying to blow that up too, but they can't do it until the shields come down. On top of troops being on the ground and ships flying around in space, blowing each other up, you've got the infamous battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader inside said Death Star, and on top of that, the Emperor is there watching them two battle it out. Again, coolest thing ever, still holds up today. But that's what this game is all about. It's a two-player game, though it can be played in teams. It's for ages 10 and up, and the average play time is about 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere around there. And basically, it is the Battle of Endor. You've got 3 sections of the board. One part of the board will be the surface fight between the Rebel troops and the Stormtroopers. No Ewoks, unfortunately. Well, some may hate the Ewoks, I don't know. But I don't mind the Ewoks. Then you've got one part of the board where Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader are battling it out. And then you've got the center of the board, which is basically your ship battle in space. So without further ado, let's just take a quick look at the components and show you how the game is played. Okay, so here's a quick look at the components and game setup. For those of you that want to see the box, here's what that looks like. There's a space here for the baggies that come with the game. Here's the instruction manual here. Nothing too fancy. Alright, so here's a quick look at the board and all the components and what game setup might look like. You've got 3 sections. You've got this section over here. It fits right into these little puzzle piece looking things here. So you've got this over here, you've got this over here, and you've got the center. Over here on the left-hand side is the surface battle of Endor. This is where the Rebel Alliance will be trying to move their token up this track. And if they manage to get all the way to the end, the shield generator is destroyed. At that point, then the fighters can actually start attacking the Death Star here. And if they happen to roll a 6 when they attack the Death Star, they win the game. So that's the way that the Rebel Alliance will win. Now, the Empire is going to be trying to destroy all of the Rebel fleet before that happens. That's their goal. As far as this over here, this is the battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Winning this battle is not crucial to actually winning the game. Like, you don't win the game by winning this battle over here. However, you do gain some pretty powerful bonuses if you happen to win on this side of the board. Now, you've also got some other trackers here. The Millennium Falcon has a hit point tracker here. The Super Star Destroyer, the Executor, also has a track over here. And then Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader both have a tracker. Now, Darth Vader has 3 red spots on his tracker. It's on the 3, 2, and 1 space. So when he's about to die, the Rebel Alliance has this Redeem Darth Vader card. And if you manage to play that while he's in that red zone, you can actually redeem him and gain more of a bonus than you would just by simply killing him. So the Rebel Alliance has that going for them. Now, as far as how to set up the game, the manual does tell you how to do it. Let's see here. There it is. So the manual does show you how to set everything up. However, I know you guys can't see it because the camera's not focused close enough, but on these spaces here, there's like a TIE Fighter symbol and then number 4. You've got the Millennium Falcon symbol and then number 5 on this X-Wing symbol. So basically, the game does tell you how to set everything up without having to consult the manual. There's a Super Star Destroyer icon here. There's a Y-Wing symbol here, and the matching. This is the Rebel Fleet the Rebel Fleet markers, and basically these represent the capital ships that participated in the Battle of Endor. So Basically, the way this is set up, you just simply match the symbols, Y-wing to Y-wing, X-wing to X-wing, and there's even numbers on this as well. There's the number 4 on this, there's number 5 on this. This is the X-wing symbol. So basically, just follow the little symbols and the numbers, and you can set up all of the little tokens. For those of you that didn't watch my unboxing video, let me just quickly go through the different pieces. You've got these TIE Fighter pieces here. No TIE Interceptors or TIE Advanced or TIE Defenders, anything like that. Just strictly TIE Fighters. This is your reserve over here. You've got Y-wings that are gold here. You've got X-wings that are red here. They look more like Z95 Headhunters, unfortunately. X-wings should have, 4, there should be 2 wings on each side when the S-foils are in their attack position. So I'm a big Star Wars nerd, sorry if I am prattling on about things that you probably don't care about. The B-wings here in blue, and they each have different hit points. So I'll go over that in a little bit later. So yeah, that's basically everything. You've also got the Millennium Falcon here. One thing I don't like is that this is made of cardboard, as is the Executor over here. I don't know why they just couldn't be bothered to make it an actual miniature, quote-unquote miniature. Granted, these aren't really high-quality miniatures here, but it would be nice if they had their own plastic miniature to represent them. In this case, it's just a flat cardboard mini. Same thing as these Rebel Fleet markers over here. Okay, so once you set up the board how everything is supposed to be, you've got these other markers. Again, you want to make sure that they're on the right space. This is the Rebel marker down here, the Rebel troops. They'll be trying to make their way up the track. That goes on the start space. The Millennium Falcon has a tracker. You've got Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and the Executor. They all have their own little tokens for their respective tracks. Each of the 2 players, or the 2 teams, depending on how you play it, each has their own set of cards. You've got the Rebel Alliance, and these are your order cards. Basically, whenever you play these cards, you'll pick one at that time to do. So there's an X-Wing action, a B-Wing action, and then you've got this Rebel Alliance symbol down here. That's basically moving. Again, these symbols match too, so if you take a look at the tracker and take a look at the card, they match, so it's not like you have to consult the manual to figure out what they are. X-Wings, B-Wings, you've got your Rebel troops down there. Millennium Falcon, this is your redeemed Darth Vader right there. And then the Empire has something similar. You've got Death Star here, which the Death Star allows the Death Star to actually shoot these capital ship markers, or the Rebel fleet markers, out of space, really. And any ships that are still on it will be blown up. Once the Rebel fleet is all gone, like if the Death Star manages to blow up all of these, or if the TIE Fighters manage to attack the Rebel fleet and knock them all out, the Death Star can then target these spaces that contain Rebel ships and wipe them out. So that's pretty powerful ability there. That's what this one here is. This one here allows the Empire to put down 3 of these +1 markers on this particular track over here. Basically, the way this track works, there's little small numbers here. There's a small 2, small 2, small 2, small 2. And whenever the Rebel Alliance takes that action that allows them to move up, they have to roll dice. And basically, they have to meet or exceed the number that's showing in order to advance it. These +1 markers make that a little bit more difficult. Now, these do not stack on top of each other. That's actually in the rules clarification forum post on Board Game Geek. These do not stack. If the Empire happens to play another card and there's already some down, they just simply continue on 1 token per 1 space, and they just keep doing that. So yeah, there's that. The Empire also has some other cool stuff like the Super Star Destroyer. You've got TIE Fighters. The lightsaber symbol allows Darth Vader to attack Luke Skywalker. Force Lightning allows the Emperor to attack Luke Skywalker, and so on and so forth. Okay, so how does gameplay work then? Well, basically, players start with a hand of 6 cards. They'll take a look at those cards, choose 3, and put them face down in a particular order. And basically, the Rebels start first. They'll take turns revealing the top card and then choosing one of those orders. So if the Rebel Alliance were to take a look at his cards and say, okay, these are the orders I could possibly do, I'll go ahead and do that one. I'll go ahead and do that one, and I'll go ahead and do this one. Okay, so, and then these other 3 are simply put aside for right now. And the Empire does the same thing with his 6 cards. We'll take a look at them. And, okay, so there's the Death Star. We'll go ahead and choose that one. TIE Fighter, choose that one. And, sure, we'll go ahead and do, say, this one. Okay. Alright, now, the Rebel Alliance always gets to go first. And basically, they'll take the top card. They'll choose one of these actions, or orders as they're called, and resolve it. So if the player were to go ahead and choose one, let's say he decides to use the green lightsaber here, he'll go ahead and roll some attack dice against Darth Vader. Now these cards do go into a discard pile after the fact. Now the way that works is action 4d6. So this player would get to roll 4 of these dice, and he gets a hit on a 4 or higher. So let's just say that Luke Skywalker rolls a 4, 4, 1, and a 2. He got 2 hits. So Darth Vader would actually take 2 damage there, and the tracker would go down appropriately. And then the Empire would get to go. He goes ahead and picks the top card. He's got this TIE Fighter symbol as well as this ground troop symbol. So he could go ahead and discard that. And let's just say he decides to, he knows that the Rebel Alliance is trying to destroy the shield generator. So he'll go ahead and add markers like so. He gets 3 whenever he takes that action. Okay, so you're probably saying, that's all fine and good, but I want to see some ships blow up. Well, let's go ahead and get to that now. Whenever a player takes, let's say, this X-Wing order, what he'll get to do is he'll get to choose a spot that has an X-Wing on it. Then he'll go ahead and move all of them all at once to the spot that he wants. You cannot land on top of another spot with enemy ships on it, and you cannot land on the Death Star. So let's just say that he plays that X-Wing order. He's going to move all of these ships over like this. And now whenever you are adjacent to an enemy ship like this, you can go ahead and attack it. And the way that simply works is you roll 1 d5 for each ship that you have. In this case, there are 5 X-Wings, so this player would get to roll 5 dice. And there's actually a chart in the manual to help you resolve how this all works. And apologies if you can't see this, but basically each ship has hit points, okay? And in order to destroy it, you have to roll above a certain number. According to this, the Millennium Falcon, you have to roll a 5 or higher in order to hit it. Rebel fleet markers, which are these things down here, they need a 5 or higher. The B-Wings need a 5 or higher, the Y-Wings need 4 or higher, and the X-Wings need 3 or higher, and that's to hit it. The Imperial ships, you've got the Executor 5 or higher, and the TIE Fighters are 3 or higher. And I have a problem with that. I'll get into that a little bit later. The X-Wings and the TIE Fighters should not have the same... I'll get into that later. Okay, and then the Death Star, once the shields are down, you simply have to roll a 6 in order to destroy it. So in this case, the X-Wings are attacking these TIE Fighters. You need to roll a 3 or higher in order to do it. So 1 d5 for each Rebel ship. So we're going to go ahead and roll the dice now. And we've got a 5... a 4, a 4, and a 6. So that's 4 hits. That actually wipes out everything. And whenever you happen to clear out a space like this, you actually get to take a bonus order. And to do that, you just simply draw the top card from your deck and place it underneath your current orders. That way you can take a bonus order for that particular turn. Now, there are some other instances where players might get some extra bonus orders. For example, if the Millennium Falcon is destroyed, the Empire player immediately draws 2 order cards off the top of the Empire deck and puts these cards without looking or rearranging at the bottom of the Empire order pile. There are... now, these are in addition to any card received for clearing a sector. So you get bonus orders doing that. And like I said over here, you also get some bonus orders depending on the result of the battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. So you can play, again, these lightsaber cards to attack each other. Force Lightning also does damage to Luke. And you've also got that Vader Redeemed action that you can take. I'm not going to go on to these too much in detail, but just to suffice it to say, if Luke Skywalker is destroyed, the Empire player immediately draws 4 order cards off the top of the Empire deck and puts these cards without looking or rearranging at the bottom of the Empire order pile. If Darth Vader is destroyed, the Rebel player immediately draws 3 order cards off the top of the Rebel deck and does the same thing. If both the Emperor and Darth Vader are destroyed, the Rebel player immediately draws 5 order cards off the top of the Rebel deck. Now, the way the Empire can get killed is when you actually redeem Darth Vader. Darth Vader will kill the Emperor, and of course, Darth Vader dies. So, if you just kill Darth Vader flat out without redeeming him, you get 3 bonus cards as the Rebel Alliance. If you happen to do that redeem action where you can get Darth Vader to redeem himself and he'll kill the Emperor, the Rebel Alliance gets 5 bonus cards. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Players will continue taking turns issuing orders until they complete their personal objective. Again, the Rebel Alliance is going to be trying to get this marker up the track to this shield generator destroyed here. And in doing so, that'll expose the Death Star, and a Death Star, can be destroyed on a roll of 6 just by attacking it. Say the shield was down here, the X-Wings just attack it, and, the chances are pretty good. With 5 X-Wings, there you go, Death Star destroyed, got a 6. So yeah, that's how you win as the Rebel Alliance. As the Imperials, basically your goal is just to wipe out all of the Rebel forces. Now, there are some other actions I didn't talk about, like, for example, the Executor over here. You can actually move him around like so, and you can even attack with him if you want to. Using the TIE Fighter action, you can not only move ships from TIE Fighters from one place to another, one space to another, but you can also launch TIE Fighters from your reserve, wherever the Executor happens to be. The same thing with the Rebel Alliance down here. Instead of moving X-Wings that are already down, or Y-Wings that are already on the board, you can go ahead and launch them from their capital ships before the Death Star wipes them out. So yeah, lots of things I didn't cover, but hopefully this gives you the general idea. Okay, so there you have it, a very brief look at the Star Wars Risk Edition that was just recently released. Like I was just saying, it's important to stress that I did not cover all of the rules found in the manual. This was just to give you a general overview so that you could see how the game was played. As far as the review goes and my thoughts, well, let's take one thing at a time, shall we? Okay. In case you didn't catch it, the board looks like a TIE Advanced Prototype X1. That's pretty cool. I do like that. Even though I don't think the TIE Advanced X1 was ever in Return of the Jedi, it was in A New Hope, Star Wars Episode 4. That's the one Darth Vader flew. But yeah, I mean, I do like the fact that the board actually resembles a TIE. Twin Ion Engine is what that stands for. I do like that. I do like the fact that there's different Rebel ships. I do like that there's Y-Wings, there's B-Wings, there's X-Wings. No A-Wings, unfortunately. There's no TIE Interceptors, no TIE Bombers. Stuff that you would normally expect to see in this game just isn't present. No Ewoks, that kind of thing. So that's a little disappointing, but I guess, when you're making a quote-unquote Ameritrash game, you have to make some compromises somewhere. Speaking of Ameritrash, these board pieces here are just a little too flimsy for my taste. Like, this is definitely cheap cardboard. I don't like it. I think it could have been a little bit more, I don't know, thick. I just don't like it. I think the models themselves, I mean, the TIE Fighters aren't bad. I mean, they're not the greatest thing. Actually, Star Wars Armada, which is another game I covered previously, actually has miniatures that are very similar to this. But they don't have stands or anything like that. I don't know how I feel about the X-Wings, the Y-Wings, and the B-Wings all being different colors. I suppose that could represent them being different squadrons, like, Green Squadron, or, standing by, and Red Squadron standing by. But in the movies, the A-Wings were Green leader standing by, the A-Wing leader crashed into the Super Star Destroyer, destroying it. Spoilers on a 40-year-old movie. But you get the idea. It's okay that they're different colors, but I think they could have been done in a better way than just painting the entire piece red. Maybe make them white with a little bit of red here just to show that they are maybe in Red Squadron. But again, I guess you have to make compromises somewhere. Another thing I didn't like, again, these cardboard pieces, you could have just gone the extra mile and made these miniatures. I'm trying to think what else I didn't like. Oh, the name. Why is it necessary to put Risk on the box? This is definitely not Risk. This game has no resemblance of Risk. Granted, in Risk, you do play cards to reinforce your armies, in the Risk I played. I know there's different versions of Risk. But this is not Risk as I know it. So why they bothered including Risk in the name, besides for marketing purposes, is beyond me. Like, this would have been just the Star Wars, the Battle of Endor. That could have been fine. That should have been enough. But no, Star Wars Risk. There's no Risk here. Not the board game. I mean, yes, there's Risk in the gameplay when you're, making choices with the cards that you have. But the game itself is not Risk, so I have a problem with that. As far as balance goes, I hear that the Rebel Alliance, I've only played one game so far, the Rebel Alliance did win. I've heard reports from Board Game Geek and other sources that the Rebel Alliance is a little bit overpowered. I'm going to have to play the game a bit more before I can actually comment on that. So, yeah, I guess stay tuned. I'll let you know if, once I make a determination either way. But as far as the game itself goes, I do like it. Again, I'm a big sucker for Star Wars. I like the Battle of Endor. I like the fact that there are ships shooting at each other in space. Even though the component quality isn't what I would like, it's still relatively fun to play. So my advice to you is, if you are a Star Wars fan, and or someone that enjoys Euro games, good quality Euro games like Power Grid, who are used to great looking pieces, good quality pieces. My advice to you both types of gamers, is to ignore the components, ignore the lack of Star Wars canon that this game can sometimes have. X-Wings have shields. Oh, right. And just enjoy the game. Just put those out of your mind. Just sit down and play the game and enjoy it. Don't nitpick over the details. Try not to worry too much about the components. They work, but they're not as good as they could be. But I guess for $30, you had to make some, it's a $30 retail price. You had to make some compromises somewhere. But it's a pretty good game. Definitely better than average. So if I were to score it, there's a written review coming on my computer there, but if I were to review it, it would be somewhere in the 7 out of 10 range. It's above average, better than a 5 out of 10. So yeah, speaking of written review, go check that out once I post it. It'll be on my official website, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. I'll have a link in the below description. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, that way you can keep up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.